Ever been somewhere, maybe a meeting or even church, and you just feel that difference,
Yeah.
between people with a lot and people with, well, less.
Oh, yeah, that unspoken tension. It's definitely a thing.
Exactly. So today, we're going to sort of unpack that. We're looking at what happens when the rich and the poor actually, meet.
We've got some great sources for this YouTube sermon transcript, really insightful, and passages from Proverbs and James.
Right. And our mission, really, is to see what they say about these interactions, especially in, like, a community setting. Maybe find some surprising truths.
Well, the first thing that kind of jumps out is from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 2.
Okay.
It says, "Rich and poor have this in common. The Lord is the maker of them all." So straight away, there's this baseline, shared creation.
A level playing field, theologically speaking.
Right.
But the sermon we looked at, it highlights the phrase, meet together.
Ah, right. Not just existing, but interacting.
Exactly. And the sermon suggests that's where it gets complicated. It's one thing to say God made us all. It's another when those different realities collide in the same room.
That makes sense. And Proverbs sets this up even earlier, verse 1 of chapter 22.
What does that say?
"A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold."
So it's introducing a different value system right away, not just about money.
Precisely. Reputation, respect. These things matter, maybe even more than wealth.
That really makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Proverbs doesn't pull any punches about things going wrong either.
No, verses 22 and 23 warn directly, don't exploit the poor. Why? Because the Lord will take up their case.
Wow. So there's this element of justice, of accountability woven right in.
Yeah, and perspective. We need to think about fairness. But it's not all warnings.
All right.
Verse 9 offers hope. "The generous will themselves be blessed, for they share their food with the poor."
Ah, so positive interactions are possible. Encouraged, even. Generosity is key.
Definitely. It suggests these meetings can be good, can be a blessing.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit to James, chapter 2, verses 1 to 4. Give this really stark picture.
Oh, yeah. The church assembly scene?
Right. A wealthy person walks in, fine clothes, maybe some gold rings,
Gets the VIP treatment. Sit here in this good seat.
and then a poor person comes in, shabby clothes,
Ah,
and they're told,
basically, stand over there or sit on the floor by my feet.
oof, the contrast is just brutal.
And James's reaction is immediate. He calls it out directly. Discrimination. Judging by appearances.
He says they become judges with evil thoughts, strong words.
Very strong. He saw it as fundamentally wrong, especially within that community of faith.
And then he asks those really pointed questions in verses 6 and 7, doesn't he?
He flips it on them. "Haven't you dishonored the poor, but isn't it the rich who are exploiting you?"
Dragging you into court, blaspheming the noble name.
Yeah, he's highlighting the irony. They're giving honor to the very people who might be causing their problem.
It forces you to confront who you value and why.
Exactly. And then he brings it back to basics, verses 8 to 10, the royal law.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Right. And he says, look, if you show favoritism, you're breaking that law. You're sinning. Simple as that.
So it's not just bad manners, it's actually violating a core command.
That's his point. It's a serious failure.
The sermon transcript had some interesting modern examples of this playing out.
Yeah, like the story about the couple and the person asking for change.
Oh, right, where the simple comment, nice outfits,
Yeah.
kind of broke the ice.
Yes. And it led to this moment of connection. And then, unexpectedly, generosity.
It shows how just seeing the person, not their situation first, can make a difference.
Even in just a fleeting encounter.
And there was that other story from Thomas Groom's childhood about John.
Oh, the one about his mother needing help.
Yes, and how she framed it. She didn't make John feel like a charity case. She asked him to help her by taking the supplies.
That's such a great example of offering help with dignity. It wasn't just about the stuff. It was how she gave it.
Preserving respect. That feels really important.
Absolutely crucial. And then there was that amazing story from Central Presbyterian Church during the hurricane relief.
With the professor and the unhoused guest.
Yes, the professor is giving, and then this guest, who seemingly has nothing, reaches into his bag.
And pulls out a crumpled dollar bill to add to the offering.
Just incredible, a powerful moment of connection and shared humanity, completely transcending their different circumstances.
Wow. That really hits home. It shows generosity isn't just about how much you have.
Not at all. And the sermon also pointed out how churches, even today, might subtly play favorites.
How so? Like who gets greeted warmly or who gets asked to serve on committees?
Exactly. Those subtle signals about who belongs or who is considered important, it's something to watch out for.
Makes you think about inclusivity in practice. Like that other story, the two barefoot girls who biked to church.
Yeah. And they brought their pets.
Right. Totally unexpected. But the response from Geraldine was just
Yeah.
welcoming. No judgment.
It speaks to that need for really wide hospitality, embracing whoever shows up.
Which brings us back to James, doesn't it? Faith and deeds.
Chapter 2, verses 14 to 17, his famous point. Faith without action is dead.
If someone needs clothes or food, just saying go in peace. Keep warm and well fed.
But doing nothing about their physical needs, James says, what good is it?
So the meeting of rich and poor, if it's based on genuine faith, should lead to practical help, tangible support.
It has to. Otherwise, the faith itself is questionable, according to James.
So reflecting on all this, Proverbs, James, these stories, there's this clear tension, right?
Definitely. Between the ideal we're all made by God and the messy reality of our interactions across economic lines.
The awkwardness, the potential for judgment, but also the potential for real connection and generosity.
So the question we're left with, maybe for you listening, is how do you cultivate that?
How do you build a spirit of hospitality in your own life, your community, your church maybe, that's genuinely surprising, that's wide enough for everyone?
Yeah, thinking about those subtle ways favoritism might creep in, maybe without you even realizing it. How can you actively create spaces where everyone truly feels they belong, regardless of their bank account or their clothes?
Something to really chew on. How to make that theological truth of shared creation a lived reality in our encounters.